we're still a superpower, but China wants a piece of that. Trust me. And if they have their way, they're going to get it. And
what are we talking about?
I'm saying China wants a piece of the action. They want to be the next superpower.
You're now falling in the trap of creating boogeymen.
I don't want to fight with them. I don't think we should go fight with them and put them in their place. But I do know history. China wants to be the next superpower. Unequivocally. Absolutely.
What does that mean?
Totally.
What does that mean?
What it means is, okay, why do they got a 1,000,000-man standing army? Why are they deploying carriers as fast as they can? Why are they deploying Aegis-class cruisers?
You're not answering my question. What do you mean by they want to be the next superpower?
They want to be like us or even bigger. They don't want to be the 800-pound gorilla. They want to be the 900-pound gorilla. We've only been 2 centuries out of the last 20. So they want their dominance back because they've always had it.
Yeah, but Dan, look back then. Did they spread outside their borders back then? No.
Well, in terms of trade and stuff, they did, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking militarily.
No, not so much.
That's not their nature.
Yeah,
look at what they're doing today. Look at what they're doing today.
Define it better. You're right. When I say superpower, I really mean...
Well, what do most Americans think? Americans assume that means they're going to bomb you.
No, you're right. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, definitely...
That's why I asked you to define it, and you started saying, why do they have their carriers here? Why do they have a 1,000,000-man standing army? You fell right back into that stupid paradigm.
No. It's true though. Those are facts. I'm not making them up. They don't like the Japanese. Okay, and they want to protect themselves without a doubt. And I don't blame them in that regard.
Well, if you don't have a military, if you're the world's largest economy, which they are now, and who are you going to rely on? You're going to rely on the United States Navy to protect you?
100%. You can't because we're not.
So I mean, this hypocrisy. Yeah. They have a giant navy. Well, they need it.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Well, and if you look at their history and their defense, Dave, I'm not making them out to be the boogeyman. I respect their culture.
They were utterly taken apart by the European countries in the Opium Wars, and then Japan went in there and dissected them.
I totally agree with you. I mean, they had a lot of scars over the centuries where they've been taken advantage of and brutalized. I agree. And
listen,
I don't want it to happen again.
Let me say this. I have known, obviously, a lot of people who've traveled to China. And I've known people who have lived in China for a period of time. There's not a one of them that I've ever talked to in this way that thinks that China wants to behave like the United States. See, that's the problem.
No.
This is the problem. The analogy I'll use, it's like the guy who comes in and says, "Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me?" And he thinks like that because he's cheating on her. So he's a cheater.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, well, but, it'll be interesting to see what they do in the next 5 or 10 years. Will they be totally aggressive? I don't know. With Hong Kong, maybe. Who knows? They want that back. I know that. I know they don't like the Japanese.
What do you mean they want it back? They already have it back.
They don't want, or Taiwan, I mean. I think it was Taiwan. And they don't like the Japanese for good reasons. And, they're probably on the fence with Russia. And they definitely don't probably like, for the most part, or trust the West. That we probably agree on that, right?
Well, the West has a record. See, this is the problem with the United States.
I'm not defending the West, by the way.
I mean, the West makes a deal, and then they renege on it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no,
when it's not conducive for them anymore. And
yeah, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes from the Chinese perspective. When they look out from their perspective, like I said, you got the Japanese to their left. It's like, oh boy, here we go. To the right, they got the Russians, which they're probably on the fence with that. Then more to the right, so to speak, you got Europe, and then you got us, the West, right? So they're probably like, holy moly, right? It's like, who the hell can we trust, right? Right? And, they've been beat on over the years, and the Japanese were brutal to them. And so, I I can understand where they're coming from, you know.
Well, this is the problem that I've said from day one. Is the problem with the United States government right now is that they look at it as a game of zero sum. They don't look at it as a win-win. I mean, they basically will demonize whoever they want to beat up.
Well, Dave, you know, you scare me when you say that. That's a scary policy, and I love this country, but because of our policies,
why do you love this country?
Of course, I love this country, Dave. I don't want to see us doing the wrong thing. I don't want to see us going down the certain paths that we're going down. Of course I do.
But my point is I mean, everybody, I would say a majority of the people who are in their own countries love their country. You know, if you were a Mexican, you'd love Mexico. If you were Russian, you'd love Russia. If you were Greece, you'd love Greece, right? Your relatives in Greece, they probably love Greece, right?
Yeah, probably.
So, I mean, of course, and that's the point that gets lost. That's the part that gets me frustrated more than anything else, Dan, is our politicians attack Putin, or they attack anybody who is simply doing their job of looking out for their country because they love their country. Like you talk about the Chinese, like the actions they're taking are a threat to us, when in reality, all they're doing is just protecting their own interest.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't say that they were a direct threat to us, but those are facts. I mean, they've got a huge army that they've been building up over the last few years.
But if you go to those countries, they love their country as much as you love yours. So the fact is if you set up a win-win scenario where you say, let's do trade together, let's set up these relations where we have these interchanges of cultural things, etc., that is going to go a long way towards not hating each other and not misunderstanding each other. Like maybe the reason people hate Iran so much is because we know nothing about them. Same thing with North Korea.
I agree. I think it's good to learn about other cultures, their language, particularly the food, everything. I love Middle Eastern food, for example. I think it's great. I'd rather eat their food and hang out with them and drink a beer than fight with them.
And like you said before, John McCain, John Kerry, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and any of these other fools down in Washington, they don't represent what I believe.
Most of them don't. I agree with you. I don't know what they represent. They represent these special interests with big money.
Just like the leaders of those other countries are probably the fools of those countries. So we have fools with fools.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at the Congress. You've got 500 congressmen, and what, 95% of them are lawyers. It's called the paradigm effect. They're supposed to be made up of different people. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, whatever, mechanics, school teachers. They all attack problems from a different perspective, right?
Well, why do people become politicians? Most of them become politicians to further their own agenda.
Right, now they do, yeah. But that wasn't the way, what it was designed for. It was designed for Dave and Dan to serve and then go away after your term. Not to be in there for 45 years like Ted Kennedy or...
John McCain, about 20 years past his time.
He's 83 years old or whatever. I want new blood, new ideas. Get the hell out of there, right?
Well, and that's what people say. People say, if term limits... people will say one or two things. Well, there's a term limit right now. It's called the people vote them out of office. Okay? But it's proven that incumbents have a very high rate of success because they have the bully pulpit.
Yeah. Look, yeah, they've got the pulpit to talk. I mean, look at Ted Kennedy from Massachusetts. He was in there for 40 years. The idiots in Massachusetts kept voting for him term after term. They complain about him all the time. I'd hear about all the bozos around here complaining. I'd be like, well, who'd you vote for? I voted for Teddy. Oh, okay, so you gave, no wonder why he's in there for 44 years. You can't stand the guy, but you vote for him every time he comes around.
He never got
Well, the other guy didn't have a chance. Well, yeah, the other guy never had a chance because you didn't take a chance and vote for him either, okay?
That's why I always voted for Ron Paul anytime he was on the ballot.